Louise, you're looking awfully festive today.
Well, thank you very much.
So, what brings you to the kitchen?
Well, I brought the egg that you requested.
Oh, this is wonderful. It's a very fine egg.
Be very careful with that.
Well, I mean,
it took a long time.
Okay, but we're going to cook with it. Is that okay?
I understand.
Okay, I didn't know if it was maybe...
It's not fertilized.
Okay, I didn't know if it was like a child or something. Okay.
No.
Well, very good.
Well, you must think of me.
No, I was trying to be nice.
Yeah, try harder.
Okay. Well, do you know what we're going to make today with your lovely egg?
Flan.
We're going to make flan, and as you can see, Louise has on her Mexican hat. Flan is...
Cuchi.
That's right. It's a dessert that is something that is from Mexico. It is made with eggs. I hope you have 2 more eggs.
I'll be right back.
Okay, just a moment. I guess she must be ready with the other eggs.
Keep the change.
Yeah, so you made these yourself?
Well, I went to the store myself.
Okay, so this recipe requires 3 large eggs.
3 of them?
Yep, from wherever you get them.
Okay.
Our next ingredient is honey.
I picked that up at the store too.
Well, that's good, because I didn't think that you had a hive. This is...
I might have a hive. You never asked.
This is golden blossom honey. You can use clover honey. You can use whatever type of honey that you like. The flavor of the honey is the only flavoring in this dish, so make sure that it's a honey that you really, really like. We are going to use one...
I really like my honey.
We are
You weren't talking about that, were you?
I could be.
Okay.
We're going to use 1/2 cup of the honey of your choice. And our final ingredient is heavy whipping cream.
Heavy whipping cream?
Yep, that's the type of cream that you use for whipped cream, like you would put on...
Whipped cream?
Yep. We're actually using this...
You calling me fat?
No, not at all. That's why you can take it such a nice, heavy dessert.
Sneaky.
Yeah. We're actually using this heavy whipping cream because we happen to have it, but if you want a lighter dessert, you can use milk, you can use whole milk, or even low-fat milk. Don't use fat-free milk, though, because it won't hold together all that.
What about half and half?
Half and half should work, too.
Or half work, anyway.
Let's see how this is made. Before we get started, I have a pot of water that's ready to start boiling. I will actually start boiling it after I put all this together because it tends to get a little bit loud. But you're going to need some boiling water for cooking this. Now, it's not an ingredient. It's part of the cooking process, and you'll see it in just a moment. So if you have a teapot, or if you just want to put some water in a pan and start that to boil, when you're putting this together, you can just get that started right away, and then you'll be ready to go. So I have my 3 eggs, and I'm just going to beat those up first. With many recipes that have wet and dry ingredients, you can just add the eggs in directly. But with something where it's all wet ingredients, you're going to want to beat the eggs first so that they're all combined, so that the fat mixes with the white of the eggs, and then you can add that to your milk. That is 1.5 cups of milk. So next I'm going to measure out my honey. I have a measuring cup. We're going to use 1/2 cup. Half of this is going to go into the mixture and half into the cups themselves. I have sprayed this with some canola oil spray first. That way the honey comes out a little bit more easily from the measuring cup. Now you may think that 1/4 cup of honey inside and 1/4 cup at the bottom is a lot of honey, but remember, this is the only flavoring we have. The eggs and the cream don't really have that much flavor to them. They're just going to taste like pretty neutral. So now I'm going to put in half of my honey directly into the mixture. And you're going to want to combine this well. However, you don't want to add a lot of air to this. This isn't a mousse, and this isn't a pudding. A flan is usually very flat, and a flan has a particular structure to it, so you don't want this to get over whipped, especially with whipping cream. You don't want to turn this into whipped cream, and you also don't want to turn this into a fluffy mousse. You want it to retain the liquid, and you want it to stay relatively flat. Now the water is boiling, so you can hear that. That's ready to pour into our baking dish after we fill our cups here. Now, normally you would use custard cups or ramekins, and a behind the scenes thing is that I thought I had ramekins. In fact, I saw them in my head. I said, oh yeah, those cute little ramekins, I can finally use them. Don't know where they are. They might just be figments of my imagination, so I'm going to use these little mixing, baking, measuring cups that I have. They're two slightly different sizes, so I'm going to watch these so that this smaller one is probably going to cook faster than this larger one. So I'll check this one about 5 to 10 minutes before I check this one, because we don't want to overcook this one or undercook the other one. Also, this makes 4 containers. I think this will probably make 3, one of these, 2 of these smaller containers, and then this larger one here. But if you have custard cups or ramekins, then you can certainly measure that out equally. I'm going to put a small amount of honey right at the bottom of each ramekin just to coat the bottom a little bit. Now, if you were making a custard, say a caramel custard, this would be where you would put caramel. This uses honey instead, and I'm getting honey everywhere, which is one of the problems with not usually using the measure that you normally do. We've got some on the counter too. That's fine, I can clean that up. And then I'm just going to use a ladle to gently ladle my egg mixture over the top, spilling some on the sides. Whatever, that's fine. There we go. I'm not the neatest cook sometimes. Okay, now I have my 2 little improvised custard cups ready to go. I have my water that's at a rolling boil again, and I have my baking dish. So I am now going to very carefully pour my water into my baking dish. Now what this does, oddly enough, with the water coming up about halfway up your cups, or a little bit more than halfway up your cups, oddly enough, this keeps it from cooking too quickly. It's going to ensure that your custard cooks evenly and that it doesn't bake too much on the outside too quickly. So even though it's hot water going into this and touching the sides of the cups, when it gets into the oven, it actually keeps everything at a regulated temperature, which is interesting. So this will now go into the oven at 325 degrees Fahrenheit for about 45 minutes. I have 2 different size cups here, so this one may take a little bit longer, this one might take a little bit less. What you want to do is jiggle it a little bit and see if it's got a bit of a wobble, and you can also stick a knife in the middle, and if it comes out clean, if you don't see any of the egg mixture on your knife, then you are ready to go and you can serve it right after that. Alright, so this is done. The other one I'm going to leave in the oven for just another moment so that it can firm up just a little bit more. When you have this in the oven, you're going to see that little wobble. That little wobble means that it's done. It's holding together as a custard, but it also isn't completely solid. What you don't want is a big solid brick of eggs, of cooked eggs. You can also put a knife into the middle, and if it comes out clean, just like with cupcakes or a cake, then you know that it is cooked all the way through and it's not going to fall apart. Now we're going to let this cool down. I'm going to let this cool down on this rack for a few minutes. You can either serve this warm or cold. You can put this into the fridge after it's cooled down in order to become nice and cold, and you can serve it that way, or you can serve it warm, which is what we're going to do. And we will tip this out onto a plate and then unmold it. I probably won't do that on camera just because I'm a little superstitious and I only have 2 of them, so I want to try to make sure that one of them comes out nicely. And then we will serve it and see how the whole thing tastes. What do you think?
Yummy.
Yep. This is a wonderful dessert. It takes a while. It does take almost an hour to put together all together in the
That's
oven.
a lot of time for Flan.
It is, but it's definitely worth it. This is a...
My eggs made it worth it.
Your eggs definitely made it worth it. The one you made and then the other eggs as well.
I got a confession.
Why?
I didn't make the first egg either.
Oh my. Well, no matter what eggs you use, this is a very creamy, light, delicious dessert. It is flavored very, very subtly with the honey, If you see, there is a sauce that the honey makes just by cooking in the oven all by itself. This is a wonderful dessert to have at a party, something that you can have either hot or cold. Not hot, but warm or cold. And it goes really well with eggs, whether you get them directly from the farm or you get them from the store.
Or from a chicken.
Or from a chicken. Thanks so much for joining me this time,
You're
Louise.
very welcome.
We haven't seen you here in a while. I hope
We haven't eaten an egg in a while.
That's true. So I'll have to make some more desserts that feature eggs, and then you'll come back more often, huh?
Much better.
Okay, that sounds good. If you'd like to join us more often, you can subscribe down below. There's just a little button. You can click that. And if you click the little bell down below, you will be notified immediately next time we have a video. We're here every Thursday with 3-ingredient recipes. If you would like to suggest a recipe for us to try, why don't you leave a comment down below and we will try to make a 3-ingredient recipe for you out of whatever dish you want us to try. Yep. Thanks so much for joining us this time. We'll see you again next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Louise, you're looking really festive right now.
Well, thank you very much. Oh, wrong.
What the hell? What the hell accent was that? Louise, what happened?
Well, thank you very much.
There you go. That's better. Having an identity crisis,
Was-
Louise.